everyone and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So in today's episode we've got a lot of work to do. Today is the last episode for the Dream Garage, and in today's episode we have to get the garage floor done, the scissors lift assembled, and get everything in place so that we can complete the build and get the new car in. Next week we're going to get back on the Dr. TTS, so we need to get this garage sorted today. So let's not waste any further time, let's crack on and start the prep for the floor. Right, so we're going to get on and do the floor today, but before we do that, this garage needs to tidy up. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but before we get into that, I'm not going to show you me tidying the garage. Who wants to see that? Boring. Let me show you the floor that I got. Okay, so remember the options that I gave you initially. It was red and blue, wasn't it? Or grey and black. In the end I went for red and grey. Number one, they had those in stock. Number two, I just thought grey and black was just, so many floors have done grey and black and it's just a little bit too dark for me, I thought. And the red and grey combination just looks great. I mean, I put some down already, as you can see, and I think it looks brilliant. I love the way that this floor looks. Now, it took me a long time to pick the right floor, and I went with Duramat's flooring in the end because they've got a really good reputation in the trade. This is a Duro tile, so it's a garage tile floor, and it's quite heavy and very flexible as well, so you know that it is strong. And actually putting this in place already, I was too impatient, so sorry guys, I put this on the floor already. It is heavy, that's not going anywhere, this floor, which is brilliant. And they do different styles and designs. I picked this one because I thought it would be easier to clean rather than the penny circle ones that they do. Underneath it's got this matting, so if there's any water it's going to be able to find its way out. And as a tile it's quite heavy, so I've got every confidence that when this is down it's going to stay put in place. And also what I do like was the fact that this here, even though it is slightly raised to allow water to go through, you're not going to crush this very easy. And with this heavy weight that's going to go on top of it, this floor should hold up pretty well. It is designed to carry heavy stuff as well, and again, that's another reason. And the guys at Duramat were, of all the people I spoke to, they were the best in terms of product knowledge and just, you know, information flow, etc. So we've arranged for a bit of a discount for you. We'll talk about that at the end of the video, so you can get 5% off the floor using the code that I'll put in the description in below. But let's get this laid out. But of course I'm going to get all this sorted and out the way, and once we get that out of the way we can then make a two-pronged attack of getting the floor laid.
2 hours later.
Phew. Right, what is a matter of seconds for you was a couple of hours of hard work for me. So we've now got the garage all nice and clear, and it's really echoing here now. Now we need Now we need to get the floor laid. So everything is kind of where it's going to be. So hopefully you can kind of vision what things will look like. That's not going to go there. That's this device here, which is the control for the scissors lift. That's actually going to go here, right by this plug socket here, so nice and conveniently laid. And that's the reason why I've got that yellow hump there, so this cable here can go this way. Now you might be thinking, well, why didn't I put it on that side? Well, because you've got a center of gravity meter here, so as you can see the orientation of the car, and most of the time that I'll be working on the vehicle, because my toolbox which is now there, the vehicle is going to be at the front, and we've got a window here to bring some natural light in, it just makes sense to orientate this the right way. And since the cable breaks out there, that's the reason why we've got the cable coming on this side here. So we've got one of our cabinets in place, there's going to be another cabinet on top of that, and then there's going to be a cabinet where the control unit is there now. So there'll be one cabinet there, two here, a worktop going straight across here, and then some small cabinets, not big cabinets, because as some of you have pointed out, this OSB board, probably not the best board to hang cabinets from, although actually I don't see why, because normally you would put this behind plasterboard. But anyway, we got some light units that are going to go up there, and they're going to secure to one of the units there to give it some anchorage. We've already got a couple, and they're going to go on the actual braces going up, so they'll be nice and secure. That will give me some overhead storage, and then of course we've got the two cabinets there, and then this toolbox will remain there, but we'll have the ability to come out should I need to. This toolbox up here, this is basically a this toolbox here just has stuff for inside the house. It's a junk toolbox, you know, everyone's got one of those, yeah. So that one is going to go on the top here, out the way. I mean, this area here will be nice and clear. So now you've got the picture. Let's get this floor down, because I've been dying to get this floor down. So one last look at what the garage looks like. We're going to do a bit of time lapse, and then we'll take a look and see what the floor looks like once it's finished. Okay, so just over a third done. I've stopped because I've got to move my lift forward, but it's gone down very, very quickly. One thing that I am surprised, you do need to give it a bit of a whack to get these in, because they really do hold firmly. So I thought you'd probably just be able to step on it and it'll go down in place, and it will go into place, but not properly. You need a hammer to finish it off, and that gives me a lot of reassurance that this floor is not just going to come apart. To be fair, when I just did this bit, it was really heavy to move, because I thought, oh, I'll move it along to cut the to trim the edge here at the top there. I was surprised how heavy it is. So we've trimmed the edge there as well now. So yeah, it's a proper heavy little, very impressed. And I've also had my first spill, but I've cleaned it up, and you would never have known. And that's the main reason why I got this, because when you paint a floor, unless you epoxy it, but epoxying takes forever and costs a fortune, and my floor's not level to epoxy, so this was the next best thing. It just cleans up really easy, and yeah, nothing more to say really. Right, so we're going to take off some tiles now for our next section, and we're going to pull my lift forward, and then we're going to crack on and continue. Okay, so look at that. Floor's gone down so well and so quickly. In fact, I stopped and then I did another 10 all the way along here. So I've got to push this across now, and the next shot you're going to see, the floor would have been completed. I've done all the cutting in, etc. Because this floor here is definitely not straight. So you can see we've got a cut there, then here the wall kind of kicks out a little bit, and then obviously the new bit there kicks out even further, but I'm not bothered about that because we'll get some bits to fill in. This wall, however, is like the Great Wall of China. It leans and curves and does all sorts. So again, not really worried, because we will get the edges and put some trim at the side to make it look nice and neat. But the main thing is how the floor looks, and man, does it look different. Anyway, let's get the floor completed. The next shot you're going to see, it will be completely laid.
Later that same evening.
And there it is. All the tiles are put into place. I've took the liberty of putting the lift also in place. So as you can see, I can walk around here with no problem, and definitely walk around here with no problem too. So it's not quite center, but not, that's the position I want it, because if you look here, you can see that obviously to drive in you got to wiggle in and go in there. So if I had it more over this side, it will just make it the task a little more challenging. So where it is now, I'm happy because I can get to that side if I need to, and I can get to this side, but most of the work is going to happen here. So the floor did go in okay. We've got a couple of tiles, like I said, there and there, which I will order some more just to finish it off. But at this stage, I'm really not that bothered. What I next got to do is get my cabinets in. So I've got another cabinet that's going to go on top of that, and that's going to store my aquavac and this hoover. Actually, this hoover will probably go into here. That way it's off the floor. Just trying to keep the floor as clear as possible. So I've got to find a home for my compressor. I don't use it that much, but still need to find a home so the floor stays clear. We've got a tool case, the one that's got all the household tools, that's nicely positioned over here, and the rest is just junk. So yeah, it's really coming together. Let's get those cabinets in, and then I guess the next thing that you will see is me setting up this, and then that pretty much is going to complete the garage for now. I will continue to work on the garage, but I'm not going to bother showing you that, because what you're really interested in is what goes on this ramp, and that's that out there. So next week, that's what we'll be doing. In the meantime, let's get this thing commissioned and working. Right, it's now time to set up our lift and get this working. Now, the setup of this is quite involved because we've got to connect up these hydraulic pipes in here. So we've got to take the front off. We also have to switch the whole system on. So we've got to take this top panel off as well. So let's do that now. Okay, so we've got our system apart, or our lid off. Now there is a little timer here that we have to adjust. I'll have to have a look at the instructions again. And then we've got our connector down here. So that's where, that connector here is where our hydraulic fluid goes into. And then we have these electrical connectors and this one here which connect to this. You can't get them wrong. They're wired in a way that you have to get them right. And they're all color coded as well. So we'll get that connected. Once we do that, we then have to fill up our reservoir. So here's where we put our fluid, and it's 5 liters of our hydraulic fluid. So let's get the wires in. We'll get this connected up, and then we'll fill it up with fluid. Okay, so we got it all together. Oil is in there. Lift is in a safe place. We've connected up all the cables, and we've also just plugged it in. This thing works on a standard 32 amp or 32 amp circuit. So it's nothing special. It doesn't need 3 phase. It's a single phase 220 volt system. Right, so the first thing that we're going to do, this panel's not on yet because we're going to test it first. So we'll turn it on. We've got a green light here. We've got up and down button, and then we've got the lock button. Okay, so we're just going to test her going up. So we'll press that button. And the lift is going up. Look at that. That noise you can hear is the locking mechanism. That's quite high, isn't it? Right, so that's the highest it goes. It automatically cuts off. Then what we do is we press the lock button, and then it locks. So you can see these devices here, it locks into here, and once it's locked into that, it's not going anywhere. So that's quite good, and that's very high as well. That's a meter. Well, I'm gonna certainly is nice and high. Okay, cool. Right, now that's up, and as you can see, I can walk straight through the middle here. So if I was doing an exhaust, I've got full access in the middle. Right, so going down, what we do is we click the down button, and what should happen is that solenoid will go up, and then there'll be a delay, and then it will go down. And once it goes down, the alarm, when it gets near the bottom, the alarm will go off just to make sure that you've cleared everything down. So we'll click that. So it goes up a little bit, the pin or the solenoid pushes up, and then she goes down. Very smooth. Probably it will go down quicker with the car on, but you can kind of see how it goes. And when she gets down to about, I think it's about 6 to 8 inches, then the alarm will sound. That's just when the ramps start to get near to the bottom. There you go. There's the alarm. And it's down on the floor. And there we go. Brilliant. Right, we can put this together because this is now ready for use. And that is it. The garage is built. Our lift's in place. It's all ready for its first vehicle. Yes, I still got to do the worktops. There they are there. Just got them in. And yes, I got a white worktop. Why did I get a white worktop? Well, I'm hoping to cover it with a sheet of metal at some point, but it was cheap and cheerful. I didn't want to spend lots of money because it's going to get damaged. So we got a white worktop, and that was the cheapest one they had. So we'll get that in next week, or during the week. And I've also bought myself one of these creepers. Now this creeper, it acts, you can fold it up into a bench, but also into a chair. The one I was going to get is about 357 quid. This one, £42. Yeah, big difference. So I'll be testing that out. It's going to replace my one that's broken anyway. So again, we'll get that assembled. So you'll see all that next week. But next week, we will be back on the cars. And just before we conclude, I want to thank again Duramat for the floor. I paid for this floor, by the way, but Duramat did give me a discount, which is great, and I appreciate that. And of course you can benefit from the discount, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the floor is just popping. It just makes such a difference. I'm so pleased with the way it came out. It's just a joy to work with and to put together, and it's made such a difference to the appearance of what was a pretty poor floor. Okay, so the garage build is now pretty much done, and now we're going to be focusing on this. Next week we're back on this, and we'll be finding out just how badly damaged this car is, so stay tuned for that. Okay, now before we summarize the end of this video, I just want to let you know that the guys at Duramat have very kindly offered all of you a 5% discount on any flooring that you buy through their website. All you have to do is just use the code PAUL5 at checkout, and you can get 5% off their flooring. They've got an extensive range. I will put a link to their website below, and also the code below. Check it out in the description even. Thank you very much, Duramat. We really appreciate that. So if you want a good, decent floor like what I've got, check out the Duramat website and save yourself 5%. Right, now back to the summary. Okay, so we are almost done. We just got to put the units in, and I will do that during the week. I didn't want to do that now because it's been a long weekend just getting to where we have got to. But you know what? We are operational now, and we are back on the tools, and it's come at just the right time because I've got a backlog of stuff to do. I've got the GTE to service, and we've also got the S3 to service as well. I've got to do a DSG oil change on the S3. So we need to get the TTS sorted and then get all the other bits and pieces sorted as well. And I've got a problem on the GTE. No, well, I haven't got a problem with the GTE. The GTE is fine. I just want to check the undercarriage and just give that a bit of a service, make sure everything is okay. So Next week, we'll be back on the tools and back on the TTS, and I've got a few new toys to play with so that we can discover what's wrong with that car. So next week's episode, we'll be discovering what we need to do to get that car sorted, and then we'll proceed with that. So, hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you do, make sure you subscribe down below, click on the bell notification, and like and share this video. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes for this video. And we are almost at 30,000 subscribers. Remember, we've got a diagnostic tool to give away when we hit that 30,000 mark. But you must be a subscriber. So make sure that you subscribe, and then we can look forward to giving that away. Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We will see you on the next one. Have a great week.